Level 1, the greenhorn. You arrive before dawn every morning. Cold air above ground. Warm air below it. That contrast becomes your new reality. They hand you a helmet, respirator, lamp battery, and safety tags. Nothing feels natural wearing all of it. The helmet feels too heavy. The boots feel borrowed. The silence feels intentional. Underground mines follow strict safety orientation procedures before rookies touch machinery. You learn evacuation routes first. Not production. Not drilling. Escape routes. That tells you everything. The elevator cage rattles downward again. Some miners stare at the floor. Others close their eyes completely. Nobody jokes during descent. You step into darkness smelling like diesel fuel and wet rock. The tunnel stretches endlessly ahead. Ventilation fans roar somewhere deeper underground. Fresh air has to be mechanically pushed through modern mines constantly. Without ventilation, gases, heat, and blasting fumes would build quickly underground. Nobody explains the sounds. You hear metal impacts echo through distant tunnels. Every noise feels massive underground. Even footsteps sound dangerous. Your first job is humiliating. You carry tools, check hoses, inspect bolts, watch experienced miners work. Everybody watches how you react under pressure. Clean debris, not your strength, not your intelligence, your panic. Because underground panic spreads faster than fire. You accidentally shine your helmet light into a veteran miner's eyes. He grabs your shoulder immediately. Hard. Never blind another miner underground. That lesson sticks forever. You start understanding the unwritten rules. Always know your nearest exit. Always know fresh airflow direction. Always watch the ceiling. Always trust strange sounds, especially silence. By your second week, your lungs already feel different. Dust enters everything. Your clothes, your food, your skin. Even your sleep smells underground now. And this is still the safest part of the mine. Level 2, the drill hand. Your hands never stop vibrating anymore. Even after shifts. Especially after shifts. Now they trust you near production zones. That means drills, loaders, conveyors, haul trucks. Real underground mining is less about pickaxes. More about machines the size of buildings. You learn drilling patterns first. Precision matters underground. Bad drilling ruins blasts. Bad blasts destroy tunnel stability. Tunnel stability decides whether people go home alive. You spend 12 hours surrounded by noise powerful enough to shake your ribs. Ventilation systems roar overhead constantly. Modern underground mines move enormous amounts of air every hour. Some operations circulate tons of air for every ton of material extracted. You stop noticing the darkness first. That scares you. The human brain should reject places without sunlight. Instead, yours adapts. Fast. You ride deep into active zones where fresh rock walls still radiate heat. Diesel fumes hang inside poorly ventilated corners. Everybody notices airflow instinctively underground. You learn to feel danger through air quality alone. Warm, stagnant air means trouble. Veteran miners constantly check airflow curtains and ventilation doors. One damaged ventilation barrier can redirect toxic gases unexpectedly. You finally understand why underground miners speak differently. Short sentences. Direct eye contact. No wasted movement. Everything underground costs energy. Even conversation. Your shifts get longer. Your paychecks get larger. And suddenly exhaustion starts feeling profitable. That changes you faster than darkness. You miss birthdays now. Family dinners. Weekend plans. But every time you consider leaving, another paycheck arrives. The mine starts paying you just enough to stay. Level 3, the blast crew. Now you work beside explosives. Everything changes after that. Blasting crews move differently underground. More controlled. More respected. More feared. You spend weeks learning timing protocols and blast zone procedures. Underground blasting requires certification, competency training, and strict coordination. Because underground mistakes travel farther than surface mistakes. You help pack blast holes deep inside fresh rock faces. The tunnel walls sweat heat around you. Every movement feels deliberate. You stop thinking like a laborer. Now you think in pressure waves. You hear countdowns through radio static. Then the world shakes. Dust storms race through ventilation tunnels. Loose rocks crash somewhere unseen. Your chest vibrates from controlled explosions miles beneath the surface. And the terrifying part? You begin enjoying it. The adrenaline, the precision, the responsibility. Fear slowly transforms into focus. Then focus becomes addiction. Veteran blasters teach you strange underground superstitions. Never rush loading procedures. Never ignore bad airflow. Never trust recently blasted ceilings. And never joke before ignition, because underground crews remember every fatal mistake permanently. Some tunnels even carry nicknames from old incidents. Nobody explains those names fully. They don't need to. One shift changes everything. A rookie freezes during blast clearance. He forgot equipment behind. Production schedules say continue. Your supervisor watches silently. You hesitate. Every second delays the blast cycle. Every delay costs money. You finally drag the rookie back yourself. Your supervisor says nothing afterward. But later he quietly nods once. That matters more than praise underground. You stop fearing the explosions long before you should. Level 4, the night shift miner. You no longer measure time correctly. That happens slowly. Then all at once. Your mind switches to rotational schedules. 7 days on, 7 off. Sometimes 14. 12-hour underground shifts become routine. Some operations run 24 hours continuously for years. Night shift destroys your sense of reality first. You wake up in darkness, work in darkness, drive home during sunrise, sleep through daylight, repeat forever. The surface world starts feeling temporary. Underground feels permanent. Your apartment becomes storage between shifts. Relationships weaken quietly. People stop inviting you places. You stop explaining your schedule. Nobody outside mining understands rotational life anyway. You spend more time underground than above it now. That realization arrives during lunch break one night. You're sitting inside a refuge chamber beside emergency oxygen supplies. Everybody eats silently. Dust covers your gloves. A ventilation fan hums endlessly nearby. And suddenly you realize, you feel calmer underground than outside. That thought terrifies you. Underground miners carry emergency self-rescue breathing devices routinely in many operations. You learn escape routes automatically. You memorize refuge chamber locations without trying. One older miner gives you strange advice. Never let the mine become home. First, that sounds dramatic. Then your off days arrive. And surface life feels wrong somehow. Too bright, too open, too quiet. You stop counting days by sunlight. Level 5, the machine operator. Now they trust you with expensive equipment. Very expensive equipment. Machines worth millions move around you daily underground. Massive loaders, haul trucks, rock crushers, conveyor systems stretching through tunnels endlessly. Modern mining depends on mechanized extraction systems operating continuously. You operate a loader alone for the first time. The machine fills the entire tunnel width. Your headlights disappear into airborne dust. Radio chatter becomes constant background noise. Traffic calls, ventilation updates, pressure reports, production numbers. Everything underground runs on communication. One bad call creates chain reactions instantly. You stop reacting emotionally to danger. That is the real transformation. A falling rock nearby barely startles you now. Emergency alarms feel procedural. You trust systems more than instincts. That makes you efficient and dangerous. You learn underground traffic rules instinctively. Yield points, ventilation doors, blind corners, emergency bays. Some tunnels feel like industrial highways beneath the earth. You finally understand why mining companies invest heavily in ventilation and monitoring systems. Because underground environments can change invisibly. Gas accumulation, heat buildup, dust concentration, airflow disruption. The mine constantly shifts around you. One shift, your loader loses traction near an unstable wall section. For 3 seconds, you think the tunnel might collapse. 3 seconds underground feels eternal. Nothing happens. But afterward, your hands shake uncontrollably. Nobody notices. Or maybe everybody notices. Nobody mentions it either way. That is underground culture. Fear exists. You simply carry it privately. Now younger workers ask you questions. They copy your routines. They watch your reactions during emergencies. Without realizing it, you became part of the system training them. And underground trust is more dangerous than fear. Level 6, the face boss. You stop sleeping deeply. That begins immediately after promotion. Now people depend on your decisions underground. Not hypothetically, literally. Face bosses supervise active production zones directly. Drilling, hauling, safety checks, ventilation flow, production timing. Everything moves through you now. You inspect tunnel ceilings personally every shift. Small rock fractures suddenly matter enormously. Ventilation irregularities bother you constantly. A strange smell ruins your concentration instantly. Younger miners think you became paranoid. Older bosses know the truth. Paranoia keeps people alive underground. You carry pressure differently now. Not physical pressure. Psychological pressure. Management pushes production targets daily. But underground geology does not care about schedules. Rock pressure builds invisibly. Heat builds invisibly. Gas buildup happens invisibly. Everything dangerous underground starts invisible. That changes how you think permanently. One evening, a ventilation door fails underground. Airflow reverses unexpectedly through part of your section. Dust concentration rises immediately. Your radio explodes with overlapping voices. You order temporary evacuation fast. Production stops completely. Management gets angry later. But one older miner quietly thanks you afterward. Bad air kills slow, he says. That sentence follows you home. Modern underground operations depend entirely on controlled airflow systems. Without proper ventilation, oxygen drops while contaminants rise dangerously. You begin understanding why experienced supervisors look exhausted constantly. They are not tired physically anymore. They are tired mentally. Underground leadership means imagining disasters before they happen. Every shift, every tunnel, every decision. Now the mine waits for your mistakes. Level 7, the shift boss. Hundreds of workers move through your section now. Some experienced, some terrified, some overconfident. All of them become your responsibility underground. Shift bosses coordinate emergency procedures, ventilation compliance, evacuation response, and operational safety continuously. Your office exists underground now. Concrete walls, pressure maps, ventilation reports, gas monitoring screens, production schedules, escape route diagrams. Everything feels temporary and critical simultaneously. You start memorizing workers by walking style alone. Helmet lights moving through tunnels become instantly recognizable. That level of awareness happens naturally underground after years below surface. Tunnel pressure reports keep you awake at night. You wake checking imaginary radio calls. Your hearing changes too. You recognize machinery problems by sound immediately. Broken bearings, poor airflow, hydraulic pressure drops. Everything underground speaks eventually. You simply learned its language. One emergency shift changes you permanently. A smoke alert triggers 3 levels below your section. Nobody knows whether it's equipment failure or fire yet. Underground fire scares miners differently. Because smoke follows ventilation systems directly. Escape routes become life or death instantly underground. You coordinate evacuation procedures through radio static. Voices overlap constantly. Some workers panic. Others go silent. Silence scares you more. You finally understand why veteran shift bosses rarely talk casually. They spend entire careers anticipating invisible disasters. The smoke alert turns out minor. Electrical failure. Contained quickly. Nobody dies. But afterward you sit alone underground for several minutes. Breathing recycled air. Listening to ventilation fans. Realizing how thin the line truly is. Because underground silence usually means something survived. Level 8, the man the mine kept. You recognize new workers instantly now. Clean gloves, nervous eyes, too much energy. They still look upward during descent. Older miners stopped doing that years ago. Your hearing never fully recovered. Neither did your lungs. Long-term underground mining exposure can contribute to respiratory problems, fatigue, hearing loss, and psychological isolation over time. You identify equipment through vibrations alone now. The mine exists inside your nervous system permanently. Even during days off, you still wake before dawn automatically. Still smell diesel inside ordinary rainstorms. Still scan ceilings entering unfamiliar buildings. Underground habits never truly leave people. That becomes obvious after enough years. The younger workers think mining is about toughness. You know better now. Mining is about adaptation. The mine reshapes men slowly, then permanently. You walk through tunnels carrying decades of memory underground. Old production zones, collapsed sections, abandoned routes. Every tunnel contains stories nobody fully tells anymore. Some miners retired, some transferred, some simply disappeared from schedules one day. Underground culture rarely discusses loss directly. The work continues regardless. That realization hardens people eventually. One rookie asks you during lunch break, "Does the darkness ever stop bothering you?" You almost answer honestly. Instead you say, "You stop noticing it." But deep down you know the truth. You did not stop noticing darkness. You became part of it. Another elevator arrives before dawn. Fresh workers enter the cage nervously. Their helmets still look clean. One of them asks too many questions. Another keeps checking his phone signal. You recognize yourself immediately. The elevator doors close slowly. Steel cables tighten overhead. And before the cage disappears underground, one older miner quietly says, "The mine remembers mistakes."